Hi. It's been a while. It's been a little bit of time since you've seen my face on camera. If you listen to a couple of my previous videos sporadically posted, I have been very busy with my author career and my books, and I just have not had an opportunity to come here and chat with you. So this week you're gonna get something a little more special, which is more of like a chatty writing vlog, a week in the life vlog. I tend to be working now Monday through Friday, especially as the weather is getting nicer here in New England. I like to spend my weekends with my family and relaxing and doing all the fun stuff outside. So a little new haircut here. I have yet to train the middle part of my bangs to behave. So yeah, a lot of things are changing. So first of all, as I mentioned in my most recent video, I have taken a step back from YouTube just for a little bit, but I am getting really excited moving forward to start ramping up with that again. I sort of shed a lot of extra things from my life when it comes to things I should be doing with my author career and not putting too much pressure on myself to do so many things at once, which I tend to do. So I have recently completed a freelance project, but unfortunately I will not be doing any more going forward in the time that I currently have with a full-time job and taking care of my family. I really only have my early morning hours to be able to work, and doing freelance on top of that unfortunately didn't make the cut. But it was a interesting experience, and just moving forward I would really like to just work on my own things, and which kind of filters into being able to release 2 books later this year, a nonfiction book which will be revealed very soon, and the first reverted book in my young adult paranormal debut trilogy will be re-released later this year. So a lot of things are in the works. I really wanted to focus a lot on these 2 books, specifically when it comes to self-publishing, because I've only been exposed to traditional publishing and people sort of doing everything for me, and at this point I'm doing everything myself, which is also why I've had to take a bit of a step back, because it's just a lot. It's a lot of fun. I'm really excited about everything, but I just need to slow down a little bit, and while that's a little nerve-wracking for me because I always want to be on the go, it's actually been quite relaxing for me. So first of all, I wanted to dive in what I've been doing with my current project in an effort to really focus on the things that I want to be doing. I am taking 1 book project at a time. So the first release this year I'm hoping to release in August is my nonfiction book. Currently I am in my second draft, so I did a sort of skeleton first draft where I got everything out on the page that I wanted to. Then my first draft where I went back into the document and filled in all the gaps and made sure it made sense. And now I'm in my second draft where I am going through in Word and using the read aloud feature where it's read back to me so I can sort of hear it in a different format and also read through it for any mistakes. This book is not a huge book by any means. It's under 100 pages, but it's sort of this exciting part of my life that I wanted to put out there when it comes to my writing career. So I'm very excited for it, and it's a little bit nerve-wracking since I've never put out a nonfiction book before, and I'm really leaning on a lot of fantastic writer friends of mine who put out so many nonfiction books and are just my mentors in that aspect of it. So this is all very exciting for me, and I'm also getting to know all of the self-publishing platforms and how I want to publish. With this book specifically, I am publishing it wide, which means I am publishing it on all ebook book retailer platforms. I'm going to start off with ebook and paperback. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to do audio right now. I don't know if, because it's nonfiction and it's my voice, if I should be the one to read it. It's a little different for me because when I read nonfiction, I do enjoy listening to the person who wrote it, whether or not they are a voice actor. I mean, I hope it's a good auditory experience. I don't know if my voice is the best thing for this, and I also don't know if I have the time to do it. So I would like to eventually do an audiobook and maybe a hardback. It's going to be really little, so I don't know. I would love to have a cute little hardback, but I just don't know if anyone would buy it. I suppose just putting it out there, you know, someone could buy it, I guess. But my plan for this book is to really reach out to the writing community. I would love to speak at conferences and do workshops and things like that based on this topic, because I think it's very important for authors to understand it. I know I'm being super vague, but since I have not put out any information on this book yet, I don't want to say too much yet. I would like to make a little bit of a fanfare about this release. So I do have to get back to it, but I will check in with you soon. Hey again, so it's much later, and on Monday nights I usually talk to a friend of mine, an author friend of mine, and we have like a mini mastermind, and we talk about our weekly goals when it comes to authoring and publishing and all of that fun stuff. So I feel really energized for this week. I actually had, that's the dog hitting the tripod. I actually had only a few things that I wanted to do this week, but as we were talking, I wanted to add a few more things. I feel like this edit is going really good for this book, so that I am going to get to the critique partner stage a lot faster. And while the book is with critique partners, I want to be setting up a reader magnet. I'm unsure of that for now. I am considering doing a hardback, so I need to contact my cover designer to see what additional cost that would be to create a hardback cover, because with the package that I got with them, it's only ebook and paperback, so I wanted to do that. And also, while the book is with critique partners, I want to go through and list all of the links that I used within the nonfiction book and make sure that everything is properly cited. I do have some case studies within the book that I want to link to the author's websites, and also all of the back matter, the copyright page for the front matter, things like that. And my cover designer also put together a title page, so I want to sort of gather all of that together. And so when I hear back from my critique partners, I can do those edits and I'll have everything pretty much ready to go and to be formatted. And then probably one more round of critique partners before maybe an ARC team to take a look at the book. But I'm getting to the final stages of this book, and it's really, really exciting and also nerve-wracking, but I'm making a ton of lists. I use Notion for a lot of my brain dumping and to keep track of things. So I am creating a template that I'll be able to duplicate for future launches, and it's really taking me from the idea of a book through drafting, editing, the production phases, through the uploading phases, marketing phases, and then everything that comes after, which I'm not really at that point yet, but I am constantly adding things to this list, and it's super long and comprehensive, but I feel really good about going through this process, knowing that next time I won't forget any of these things up front. I probably will forget something or a few things during this publication process, but I like honing that skill for myself, and maybe in a year or two I'll be like a super machine when it comes to publishing books, and having a list like this will give me an opportunity to focus more on my stories and my books versus everything else that I have to be doing, because once it's out of my head and on a list and I know, hey, 4 months before the release I have to do this, this, and this, I don't have to think about it, so I can just focus on creating and doing what I love to do most. So it's getting a bit late now. I'm gonna head to bed for my 5 a.m. wake up time, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good morning. It's about 5:15 on Tuesday, and I'm ready to get started with work. So what I'm working on this morning is I'm finishing up my edits for my nonfiction, and then I'm just going to figure out what I'm going to do the rest of the morning based on the plan that I made last night, which is also why I love doing my mastermind meetings on Monday, because I have a plan for the week and I just have to implement it. So let's get to work. So it's later in the afternoon and I wanted to do a quick check-in on this morning and what I did. So I completed my read-through of my nonfiction book, which is fantastic. I'm so excited. I'm so happy with it. I do feel like it is at a good point where I need to give it to other people to take a look at it. I've never written a nonfiction before, so I'm curious on if I need to tweak the story of it or the structure of it and things like that. So that's exciting. And after I finished that, I went through and I was thinking I wanted to add actionable steps at the end of some of the chapters, sort of like a checklist, and that is my plan for a reader magnet I wanted to do for my newsletter signups. Anyone who's interested. I wanted to give a freebie at the end of this book as a checklist and as a special thank you for anyone who read it and is interested in taking part in the next steps. Again, I'm being pretty vague and it's pretty hard to do that. It's getting harder to do that. So I created a checklist as I went through, and I'm also, as I was doing that, I'm going through the different websites that I want to include in a resources link at the end of the book, and I also want to include that in this freebie as well. So it was a lot of information gathering. I knew at the beginning I wanted to do this, so I did really list out the different websites that I wanted to put in, but obviously as I move forward with ebook versus print, I do have to put the resources a little differently. And then I did want to do a grammar check before sending it to critique partners, but I didn't have enough time. So my next step with this is to do a pro writing aid overview check and then send it off to CPs to do more of a content edit, and hopefully that won't take too long. As I said, the book is very short. It's under 100 pages, so I'm hoping it won't take my CPs too long, but obviously I'm not going to push anyone to do it faster because I really want to get this as right as I can the first time. And also too, I have to film a little intro and outro for a interview that I did recently, which is going out next week. So be sure to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you know when that interview goes live, because there is a special giveaway attached to it. I will be giving away a book next week, next Monday. My uploads are 11:45 a.m. EST. So I'm very excited to do that. I do have to shower at some point today and get that going. So it was a really fun interview, and I'm just very excited to be putting videos back on my channel. I really missed being on YouTube, and I really missed filming, which is why I'm so excited for this writing vlog, because I love editing and especially love editing blogs. So I'm very excited for that, and I just feel like I'm getting back into the swing of things when it comes to YouTube. Also too, if there's any topics that you would love for me to discuss moving forward, I do have some more self-publishing how-tos coming up, but if you're interested in any other videos, do let me know, because I'm always looking for new ideas that you would want to see. So be sure to list those in the comments below, and I'm gonna get back to it and I'll check in with you soon. Today is Wednesday, and I'm just going to give you a quick update on what's happening with me. This morning was super busy. I woke up just a tad too late and I wanted to jump on sprints with my awesome sprinting buddies, and I just didn't film. So updates on the book. It's done. It's done for now. I'm so nervous because I handed it off to 3 amazing critique partners who have so much knowledge about nonfiction, and my biggest concerns with the book is the flow of the story. Also, if it really makes sense when it comes to the information I'm trying to provide, and also obviously any like typos or grammatical errors or anything that sticks out the most. Even for such a short book, I'm really enjoying this process, and I'm just so nervous that I'm going to get the book back and it's going to be a total mess, which I'm totally fine with any critiques and editing tips or revision notes, but it's a bit nerve-wracking because I've never done it before and I just want to do it as write as I can. When it comes to nonfiction, I feel like I have a lot more freedom, but still I'm a bit nervous on what they're going to say. So after I handed that to them, I actually did contact my cover designer, because initially I had just had them do an ebook and paperback size, and I'm thinking I want to do this in hardcover. So I emailed them and I asked them the pricing it would be for giving me a different cover, and it's not that expensive, which is fantastic, and I'm going to go forward with it. And I'm thinking about the rest of the week, and I have a few things I want to do, but I sort of want to wait until I get critique partner feedback before I do them. So while I'm not technically in the middle of anything, I do have a lot of things that I need to be doing in terms of the reader magnet. As I mentioned, I'm probably going to work on that tomorrow and sort of go through the book again and make it a little prettier at least, and then I want to move into Canva and create this document. So there's a few things that I want to be doing with this book, but I think I'm going to wait on. The first is I have several authors who were amazing and gave me their experiences around the topic of the book, and I want to just confirm how I'm portraying them in the book, and our interview is how they want to be portrayed. I did say that early on, that they can change anything at any time, so I want to send those. I also want to do the reader magnet, but I think I'm going to wait until I get critique partner feedback, because if there's anything that I need to change, I don't want to like create this whole PDF and then have to change some of it. I may look to find a design, and I may actually sign up for a bunch of other nonfiction authors, their newsletters that I'm not already subscribed to, and see their reader magnet and how it looks, and figure out how I want to present mine. It's probably going to be a PDF that I create in Canva, because I'm most used to that platform, and I really don't want it to be like super boring either. And I know with Canva I can add little fun designs and things like that. So I think I want to wait for that. When it comes to the resource list, I am going to probably work on that tomorrow, and then also to any of my back matter. See, these are things that don't necessarily take a ton of time, but they take enough when it comes to making it look pretty. And then I want to just figure out my front and back matter and how many pages that the book is going to be. I use vellum to format. I'm going to be formatting all of my books going forward as of this moment, because I did purchase this program and I really want to get to use it as much as possible to pay itself off. And then if I need to make any changes, I can just do that myself. So I want to determine all of these things, and then I want to contact my cover designer. I already have my blurb all set for this book, and I want to have them put it onto the cover. I want to have them know how many pages the book is going to be, so that they can adjust the spine for both paperback and hardback. And then I want to possibly figure out what I want to do for a workbook for this project. So it's a lot of things happening, but I don't think they're going to be as time consuming as, for instance, drafting or editing. So I'm really excited to finish out this week doing as many of these tasks as I can. Within the calendar that I created for this project, I gave myself 2 weeks to edit, and I edited it in 3 days. So I have a lot of things that I want to kind of put into this 2-week period so that I'm ahead. And I'm also considering bringing up my release date a couple weeks because I'm so far ahead. Now, I'm not going to say that for sure, because if I receive feedback from my critique partners and the book is atrocious and it needs weeks of work, at least I'll still have that buffer for the initial release date, which is the end of August. But I think it would be really fun to release this book sooner, because I'm just really excited for people to know about it and people to read it, and to thank the people who've helped me with this book, and just sort of get it out there and get the ball rolling with my self-publishing career, because I'm thrilled to be able to do this. And then with it coming sooner, I can get Soul Taken out sooner and then start working on the next book. So it's all just crazy. This is just my future thinking that's getting so excited and overwhelmed in a great way for things moving forward. So in terms of writing for the rest of the day, I don't think I'm going to do much. I think if I get any time this evening, I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale because I love that show. And I really have been enjoying not waking up at 4 a.m. I do wake up at 5 a.m. so I have, 2 hours in the morning instead of 3, which is fine. And at night I've been really enjoying actually relaxing and being with my family. As I mentioned, 4 a.m. is just not sustainable for me. If I worked from home full time and I didn't have a child to take care of and somewhat of a life, maybe I would wake up at 4 a.m. and it would be sustainable for me, but it's really not, because even at the end of the day, after a full day of working and making dinner and cleaning up and getting ready for the end of a day, I still had to go to bed early. And that's just not fun 5 days a week, especially when my husband is like, hey, let's watch a show, and I'm like already snoring and it's 8 o'clock. So yeah, I'm still getting used to that, but I like slowing down in this process, and I think any time that you feel things are not sustainable or you start to get to a point of like, hey, this is not really right, especially as we get older. I'm no spring chicken anymore, and I do need to have a certain amount of hours a night to sleep or else I'll get sick. So that's not fun. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to it and I'll talk to you soon. Good morning, happy Thursday. It is close to 5:30 in the morning and I am getting ready to work. So my 2 projects this morning, I have an interview that's coming out next week and it's a rather long one, and I am going to send over the file to have the captions done. Normally I use Temi. It's like the cheaper version of rev.com, and this one's just a bit too long and I don't really feel like really honing in on the captions this time, so I'm going to spend a little more money and use rev.com. So Temi is sort of the computer generated captions, and then I go in and tweak, and Rev is their big parent company that you pay like a person to do the captions, and I haven't used it in a while, but this interview is close to 40 minutes long and I just don't want to do the captions this time around, so I'm going to send those over this morning. And also too, I'm going to work on the back matter for my nonfiction book and start figuring that out. I received the hardcover cover for that book from my cover designer, and I'm so excited for the process. I'm just getting really excited for everything, and that's all I'm going to do this morning as far as I know. If something changes, it just feels very odd to be like in book production mode after a draft is done, because obviously with previous contracts of mine, I would just like hand the book off and then like wait for release day and like do some marketing and things like that. But I will do that eventually, obviously, but that's not on my production schedule. I had set aside about 2 weeks in June to do the planning for all of my marketing for this book and my fiction book, and I like to stay on schedule. I think maybe next week I'll do that, maybe move it up a week. I can't imagine it's going to take me 2 weeks, but when I made this plan I had no idea what to expect. So yeah, I'm going to get started with that, and I'll check in with you soon. As long as my name is on their lips, call me mysterious. Why is it hard on my own? Why am I not like her? A bit more so. So right now I'm just trying to figure out now what I want to do with my captions, because on rev.com they have pricing based on transcriptions and captions, where Temi I was able to download both of them, because eventually when I redo my website I want to have a central place for all of my videos, including like all the links to the video and the podcast and the transcription. So I like how Temi does both for one price, and it seems like Rev is either or. So I'm gonna do a little more research.
This comparison, call me mysterious.
Okay, I've made a decision. I'm not going to use Rev.com. For my 40-minute interview, it's $51 and I only get the captions. No. I'm just gonna put the work in here and I'm gonna put this into Temi. It's $10 at Temi.com and I just gotta put a little more work in. It's honestly not worth another $40 for me not to do it myself, so that's fun.
I wish to be something special in the end. I wish to be so much better in the end. I wish to be.
I'm doing a quick check-in with you from this morning. I had a busy day with work, so I'm just sitting down for a few minutes. So yeah, I got a little off track this morning. That captions thing really set me off my track, but I was able to finish that. I have it ready. I just don't know when I'm going to do it. Probably this weekend. I may take a little bit to do that. Usually when I do captions, I listen at double speed, so I'm able to like quickly do the captions as quickly as I can and not have to spend over an hour doing it. So after that, I was looking about doing my front and back matter, so I did my copyright page. I put one aside for table of contents because in Vellum it generates that for you, so I just left a space for that. And then I did an acknowledgements page and a resources page and a thank you page, and also linking to the reader magnet checklist that I want to put out as well. I left blanks for like links and stuff, and I looked at several of the nonfiction books that I have: Sasha Black's The Anatomy of Prose and Successful Author Mindset by Joanna Penn, just to see how other authors in the indie community handled front and back matter, specifically with paperbacks. I know how I want to handle it with my ebook, and with an ebook it's just so much easier to create links and then people can just click them. So I want to make sure that the experience that people have with a physical copy of the book is still pleasant and it's not just all links that no one can remember. So I was trying to make them look a certain way, and I think I'm also going to link the same resources that are in the book on my website as well, so that obviously it drives traffic to my website, and also they can just go to my website and click on things. But I know the percentage of people who read physical books and then move toward a website may not transfer as many people, and I'm hoping at the very least that they do download the checklist, and then maybe when they're there they're able to see the resources. So I'm still not quite sure how I want to do that yet, but it's all very exciting for me, and it's just bringing me closer to publication. So I probably won't get much else done the rest of the day. I'm about to go pick up kiddo at school, and usually my afternoons and evenings are filled with family things. So I would love to be doing more. Again, this is the first week that I've not done my 4 a.m. wake ups, and I feel like I'm not getting a ton done, obviously because I have less time, but I'm feeling really good about this process. I don't feel stressed at all. I'm on track. I'm actually earlier than I normally would have been on my schedule, so I feel good. I feel like I have a bit of a buffer, and coming up here on a holiday weekend, I'm just excited to spend the time with my family. And that's all for now, so I'll check in with you soon. You get this lovely hair this morning. Happy Friday. It's almost 5:30, and today I'm actually not going to work on my book. I did receive feedback from one of my critique partners for the first round of critique partners of this, my nonfiction. I am going with 2 rounds. I wanted certain people to read this book at certain levels of publishing and ability. Like, the first round of critique partners have written nonfiction and read a lot of nonfiction, and then the second round, it's mostly due to timing. I wanted one of my critique partners to read it after I finish, with the first group, and then another writer who doesn't necessarily know a lot about the topic but reads nonfiction, and I just want to get a different perspective. So I'm going to work on those captions for my video for next week, and also this video right now. So I'm going to try to edit some of this video so I can get it to you today. So let's get started. One thing I like to do also while I am doing captions is sort of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So on YouTube there are these things called chapters, which you will see at the bottom of this screen, where I put in timestamps and it sort of separates the video into little chunks. So when I am doing captions, I will also note different parts of the video, and I will put that in the description of the YouTube video so that you can skip around to whatever parts interest you and also just see the flow of the video, basically. One thing that kind of bothered me that I learned about recently that I did notice with my books is that I did notice with my videos is that when you search for anything on Google and a video pops up, if that video doesn't have chapters, like a lot of my older videos don't have chapters because YouTube didn't have that functionality previously, it like creates chapters for you, and like some of them are not great. So I think eventually I'm gonna go back and try to figure out for my older videos like chapters. That's going to take a lot of work because I have quite a backlog. But if you do YouTube videos, make sure you put chapters in, because if it ever becomes searchable on Google, they'll just create chapters for you, and it's kind of annoying and they're not always accurate. So that's just a little behind the scenes information.
I wish to be so much better. I wish to be me.
Hey, it's Sunday. I wanted to update you on what I've been doing with my books. So on Friday I left you where I was figuring out captions and things like that. So I handled all of that, and then a friend of mine actually let me know about Descript, and I spent most of yesterday, my free time, playing around as much as I could with it to create audiograms, and I think they're called videograms, or maybe I just made that up, but videos that have captions burned onto them, and I was playing around with next week's interview, playing around with that on how I want to promote it on my other channels, so that was a lot of fun. And it's something that I want to use moving forward with my captions. I do want to try it. I think I'm going to try it for this video and to see if it's an easier process for me to be able to promote as well. And also moving forward, I had so much fun this week talking about my writing process and also editing this video. I edited it yesterday, most of it, obviously not this clip, but I'm going to do more of it moving forward, and it may be in between videos that I already have planned, or you may get a super long one on a couple of weeks. I'm not sure how I want to do it yet. I did want to ask, and I'll put a poll up in the corner here if I can remember how to do that. If you are interested in more of just writing content, or if you'd like to see any other content I do throughout the week. As the world is opening up again and we are vaccinated, I am going to start going out in the world a lot more, and I didn't know if you'd be interested in that, or if you just want to keep it strictly writing related. I'm happy to do it either way. Obviously, if you've been around long enough, you know that I don't really expose a lot of my family life on this channel. I want to keep their lives private, but I'll be happy to include some other content if that's something you would like. But I need to get this vlog edited so I can give it to my patrons for somewhat of early access, because that is one of the perks of my Patreon page, which also supports my channel and my writing and being able to bring this content to as many writers as possible. If you're interested in looking at my Patreon page, it's patreon.com/Katlyn Duncan. I'll put the link in the description below so that you can check it out. In addition to early access to videos, my patrons get early access to pretty much anything to do with my publishing, live Q&As, things like that. I am always expanding things that I want to offer on my Patreon page, so be sure to head over and check it out if that at all interests you. My content here on YouTube will always be free, but that little extra help from those who are willing and able is so helpful. So be sure to join me next week, where I have a very special interview and giveaway. And if you enjoyed this vlog, be sure to give it a like, hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell next to it so you know the next time I upload, and I'll see you next week.